What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And in this video, we're going to talk about the rumors that are out there that the Cleveland Browns are somehow interested in Nate Solder. And I hope they remain interested. Now, of course, these rumors also say that they are interested in Trent Williams first, of course, of the Washington Redskins, as they look to shore up their offensive line. But if they miss out on Williams, they have turned their sights on the New York Giants left tackle being Solder. The deadline is only 5 days away, and the Giants are going to have to make a move sooner than later if the Browns are, in fact, interested in Solder. Nate Solder is a guy that we were all pretty excited about when the Giants brought him in. The left tackle, former Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots, and the Giants made him the highest paid left tackle in the sport. And I think if you were an educated football fan when Gettleman and the Giants made that move, you knew that the Giants overpaid, but you also knew that it was such a huge need, and they needed to shore up that position, and that's why Gettleman did it. He was the best available tackle on the market, and the Giants had some cash to spend, and it was their biggest need at that point. So that's what he did. He got a blindside protector for Eli Manning, and a guy that he thought would help open up holes for Saquon Barkley. But before I get into more in this, I wanted to show the quote that came out about this potential rumor. As the October 29 trade deadline draws near, the Browns are still attempting to pry Williams from Washington, which figures to be a seller thanks to a 1-6 record entering Thursday night. But Solder, the New York Giants left tackle, also has their interest, according to CBS insider Jason La Canfora. The 31-year-old lineman is only a year and a half removed from signing a 4-year, $62 million deal with the New York Giants. But with $40 million remaining on his contract after an underwhelming start in New York, he could be a prime candidate for an early departure. A two-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots from 2011 to 2017, Solder could be released to save cap space in 2020, but he'd still carry a dead cap hit of $13 million. In other words, if the Giants think he isn't their left tackle of the future, they might jump at the chance to send his contract elsewhere. And that goes without saying. In my personal opinion, if the Giants are able to get rid of this guy and you could free up $20 million on next year's cap, I don't care what we get back. The guy has been mediocre at best. Last year, he surrendered 8 sacks in the first half. Got much better in the second half, in which I think he only surrendered 1. But this year, it's been the same story in the first half. He surrendered sack after sack after sack. He had 5 coming into last week. Giants surrendered 8. Not too sure how many he surrendered, but he didn't play good. So I'm sure he gave up a few more. And if the Giants could get rid of this guy and relieve themselves of that cap, got to do it. Now, why does it make sense from a Browns perspective? Well, the Browns, of course, traded Kevin Zeitler to the New York Giants in the offseason. And before we even get into that, obviously these two teams have had a history now of making trades. They have a connection. They've made 2 trades this year, the Odell Beckham trade, the Kevin Zeitler trade. And when they traded Zeitler, I think the Browns took their offensive line for granted. Baker Mayfield's rookie year, Mayfield played very well. 27 touchdowns, 14 picks. This year, 5 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and a lot of that has to do with the Browns' offensive line. They haven't been able to give them the same protection they had the previous year, which is why the Browns are trying to shore up that offensive line. I personally think this would be a very dumb decision by the Browns, but the fact that they have interest in this guy, the Giants have to do everything they can to get this guy off their roster. Yes, I know it may stunt Daniel Jones' growth because whoever you're going to put in at left tackle will not be as good as Solder for the remainder of the year. But if you could free yourself of $20 million over the next 2 years and get rid of this guy who is clearly not what he was and what we expected when we brought him in, you got to do it. I think we'd be ripping the Cleveland Browns off even if we got a 7th-round pick. Giants got to jump at this opportunity if the Cleveland Browns are, in fact, interested. So I am hoping that the Redskins do not trade them Trent Williams. I just don't see the point here if you're the Cleveland Browns. You're 2-4. You have a really tough game coming up against the Patriots. You're going to be 2-5. The Ravens are 5-2. I don't understand why you would do this. You're not going to win that division, and you're not going to get the wild card. You're just not. I mean, maybe. I mean, they do have a soft schedule down the stretch, and they've kind of bought all in with all the players that they've bought in, and everybody thought they were the Super Bowl contender. But they've appeared to be, anything but that so far this year. I think this would be a really bad move by the Cleveland Browns and a great move if the New York Giants could get Nate off the roster. It's a guy that I thought was immovable. I didn't think the Giants had a chance of getting rid of this guy. And the Browns are showing interest. Giants, do your due diligence and make sure you get this trade done if the Browns do in fact have interest. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But as always, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.